Hello, my name is Henrik Nordsyd. I have written a book about engineering in Bronze Age Scandinavia, and in this video I will present a part from that book. In this video, I will discuss how the shape of the Barlastboats could have influenced certain aspects. These can be seen as further proof that it is a ballast boat that is depicted on the rock carvings. The Viking ships are best known for their menacing sea monster head in the front of the boat and a tail in the aft of the boat. Adding figureheads was practiced until very recently on wooden warships, but is not used anymore. Several different cultures have used it in different ways. Some car manufacturers use them on the front of their cars. This culture has been somewhat lost as designers now use a stricter and more somber design, with less details, and this is true for most designed objects, including boats, but also houses, furniture, weapons, and jewelry. Sadly, this is sometimes called Scandinavian design. As the ballast boat was a product of available tools and production method, so is Scandinavian design, where objects are not made by craftsmen but in industries. But before this culture ended, figureheads had been used for a long time. The ballast boats that predates the Viking ships by thousands of years used them. It is very clear that the top keel of the ballast boat was decorated with one or two wooden animal heads. Most are with two heads and are symmetrical, but there are some that could be with a head in front and a tail in the rear of the boat, similar to Viking ships. The ballast boats, with its two keels, looks like two snakes even without ornamentation. When submerged in water, the top keel looks like a snake swimming in the water, with its head and tail rising above the water. The people knew about snakes as likely depicted in this rock carving. This meant that, with little changes to the boat design, the symbolism with a snake was not far off. There are many famous animals in Norse mythology, and the snake Jörmungan, or Midgard serpent, is the famous serpent that surrounds the earth and rises from the sea to kill Thor during Ragnarök. There is also a story of Thor's fishing trip where he tries to pull the Jörmungan from the sea. The only snakes that lives in Sweden is the adder and the grass snake. They live on land but can swim, especially the grass snake that hunts frogs and fish. So having a boat that looks like a snake that lives in water is not impossible. Vikings are known for their horned helmets. They probably did not have horns on their helmets, but on many of the heads depicted on the ballast boat, it looks like the snakes have horns on them. Real snakes do not have horns, so does this mean that they are not supposed to look like snakes? Some still do, but adding hunting trophies like horns from some deer species would not be far-fetched, as collecting and displaying beautiful horns as hunting trophies still exists. It is impossible to say if they started the tradition of decorating their ships with wooden animal heads as the boats looked like a snake, or if they just did it as they wanted to ride an imposing fantasy beast. But it would have been harder to decorate a dugout canoe in similar fashion. The next topic is acrobatics. There are a few rock carvings with people that looks like they are doing backflips over the boat. Backflips are something that gymnasts do at different events. The most imposing being made on the balance beam. And the balance beams look like, you guessed it, it looks like the top keel of a ballast boat, and not like the inside of a hulled boat, with its many beams and seat boards. Landing a backflip on the top keel of the ballast boat would be similar to what the gymnasts do on the balance beam. Trying to land on one of the seat boards in a hulled ship would be very challenging and dangerous. This is one additional evidence that the boats depicted on the rock carvings are ballast boats, and not boats with a hull. The people doing the backflip could possibly made it with the starting position on the straight part of the upper keel. This would resemble what gymnasts do on the balance beam, or more daringly, they climbed up and jumped off the top of the snake's head. This would require a lot more balance, as the boat will want to rotate and tip to its side when the acrobat has his weight on the top of the upper keel. This would likely make the boat move if the weight difference between the acrobat and boat is not high enough. There are other persons on the boat at the same time, so it is possible that they help to stabilize the boat. Or they try to make the boat rotate to give an initial starting velocity of the acrobat. This will not give much of a starting velocity, but waves on an ocean probably could. Hopefully, there will be some crazy acrobat or gymnast watching this video and builds a ballast boat to try to replicate this backflip. Obviously, I will not do it, but it would be cool to see if someone else can pull it off. But this is not an endorsement. It will probably be really dangerous and can lead to serious injury, and the person doing it will very likely die someday. There are other similar acrobatics, namely what was developed by the log drivers that worked with log driving. Walking and balancing on logs that is floating down a river is similar, but harder than balancing on the top keel of the ballast boat. The log drivers developed different acrobatics to show their skills, and most famous is the log rolling, where two persons are standing on a log and are trying to be the last man standing. On a side note, for people who think that the persons on the ballast boat would be very wet all the time, looking at what clothes the log drivers used to wear, you realize that they dressed in normal working clothes, with at most rubber boots. This was a shorter video with two different subjects, but I hope you still enjoy it. And please watch my other videos as well. If you want more details, please buy my book. Thank you for watching and bye.